he said, I'm Nicholas Williams. The only memories I remember from this dude was he was outside with his friends playing hacky sack every morning before school. So if he ever had a nickname, Hacky Sack Kid would probably be his nickname. But anyways, I'm Nicholas Williams. I'm an evangelist, actually, in 4 years. I have a ministry called Just Jesus. It's just an online ministry, but I know God is slowly working because He's got me here. This is so amazing. I want to thank you guys for allowing me to be here. So I want to share something before I share my testimony today. We went to Winter Gym yesterday, and God did something. It was so amazing. It was. We got there, and we got to the door, and eventually they moved us over to a new line because they opened up another gate. And we got in there real easy, but when we got in there, finding a seat was harder than we even realized was going to happen. And so here we are, we did whatever we felt we needed to do, but then every time we went to a seat, it was like the music was really loud, so it's like, I'm 43 years old, I'm already starting to lose my hearing a little bit, and I don't want to lose it all, so it was like, no, Drews, no, John, let's go find another seat. And that might have been a bad decision because considering the fact that I have a fear of heights, I did not know what was about to happen. So here we are. We're looking. We went into one, went into another, and we're getting bumped by all these people. All three of us were just going through just a lot. Like we were about ready to just lose it. It was like I started praying. It's like, God, you're gonna have to help me because we are all about to lose it or whatever. So we finally got up to a somewhat of a higher level because she kind of shut down. I felt so bad for her, and I just felt like I was like, okay, it's your time to lead. I'm gonna let you lead, and then I'm gonna show you what you need to do. And then we got up to the escalator. We got up there, and then we were looking for another entrance, and we passed one, and I just got this feeling in my gut. It's like, okay, so we passed it, and there was a Tower 6, and I can't remember what it was called, and it was blocked off. So we turned around, went all the way back, pretty much went back to that entrance where I got that feeling in my gut, and I was like, okay, I got a feeling, let's run with this. And sure enough, we went to another entrance before that, and I pointed at some seats, and those were the exact seats. So God basically opened up a door that we could not even see. And the next obstacle, like I mentioned, was my fear of heights. So all night, once we got to sit down, God kept saying, okay, stand up, come on, stand up, you can do this, you can do this. It took me probably about at least halfway through the concert before I was able to, but once Colton Dixon got up there, he was the one I was waiting for out of all of them. And so I finally stood up, and the fear was all gone and everything. Guys, with God, all things are possible. Matthew 19:26 says, all things are possible with God. And Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yes. And so that's pretty much the introduction of my story. I was born in Breen, Alabama. I was adopted. My biological father left me when I was a baby. And I had another father that came in and he raised me and he gave me his name. So growing up in Breen, Alabama, I was the oldest of two kids, of two sons, and I was the better one. My brother was kind of a rebel, kind of a wild one. He was the kind of one where he would get in trouble and he would laugh and point and make fun of mom and dad. So, but at the same time, I just felt like he'd get away with murder quite a bit. But what I come to realize later in my life was that when God allows that to happen, He's protecting you and He's preparing you for what will happen later in your life, to where He'll basically be saying, I'm giving you guidance and I'm giving you protection, so listen up. So growing up in Breen, Alabama, I came to Christ when I was 9 years old. Went to a church with my cousin Alicia, and at 9 years old, you don't understand. You understand you need Christ, but you don't understand like why Jesus died, or what that you're called to be a light, and all that stuff. It's pretty much the introduction of the fact that, okay, I need Jesus Christ, so let's accept Jesus Christ. Well then, and Brent doesn't know this, I actually was addicted. When I was 12 years old, I became addicted to pornography. I was at my grandmother's house, and I was watching something on TV, on cable television, and I pretty much got into the entrance of the world of pornography. And so my grandmother she woke up that night while I was sitting there watching what I was watching, and God spoke to her. I did not listen. I was 12 years old. Of course, when you're a kid, you don't listen to a lot of things that you should. But when I was 12 years old and she woke up, she looked at me, she was like, you don't need to be watching that. If I'd have known that God was speaking through her at that very moment, then I would have listened, and it would have saved me a lot of heartache and everything else. But I didn't listen. So by the age of 16, 17, we moved into a 2-story house. And I go about my habit. I go about my addiction. I get in front of the computer. I stayed up till 6 o'clock in the morning one day because I was so addicted to this. And it just continued to take my life, just little by little. And I put relationships through heck. I put friendships through heck. I even put my parents through heck. My parents once got like a $300-400 bill because of some kind of live hotline that I tapped into that I had no idea I tapped into. And on top of that, I also had ADD. So it was like at the same time, whatever my mind consumed, like it was like I was trapped in 4 walls of basically pornography. So in school was very difficult for me, and I barely passed. Okay, so graduated from high school, like I said, barely, and then it was what am I going to do with my life? My mom really freaked out when I chose music. Because I was in a rock band when I was in high school, and I really wanted to do music. But my mom was like, yeah, that's not happening, okay? So, and she pretty much, she chose everything through college for me to try to find, whatever path I needed to be on. God had other plans, by the way. So she got me into clinical laboratory at a college in Walls State. Well, halfway through the first semester, I was struggling. I ended up passing the first semester, but then the second semester, all I did was fail. I kept failing. And with my addiction and with ADD, and it was just very difficult for me. So I finally got fed up with my mother because I felt like part of it was her fault, and I just said, okay. I went to her job and I said, I quit. Okay, I can't do this. I quit. And I just felt like she would not let me choose what I wanted to go to college for, what I wanted to do with my life. So I had a girlfriend at the time, and I had asked her to marry me, so I moved to Tennessee. And I was thinking, okay, if I move to Tennessee, I can move away from this addiction. The devil doesn't quit just because you move. He does not do it. The Bible says he goes about whoever he may devour. And so, moved to Tennessee, got married to my wife, and her mom had a computer. And on top of that, my first job was a video store. So, you can pretty much put the pieces together with that puzzle. So, for 6 years, I put her through heck. And there was 1 year that I finally decided I'm going to go to the altar, I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to have her help me get through this. Amen. Obviously, she did not feel very good, and it took her a while to even trust me. And for 1 year, I was clean. For 1 year, I was clean. I was like, okay, I can do this, right? I can do this. But when you have it in your head, it's like, okay, I only have to get through 1 year. After that, I'm good. And I was thinking, well, maybe my mindset will change. Maybe I'll pick up, and I'll be able to. No. I picked it right back up, and I continued to lie to my wife about it. For 6 years, I did that. So my wife eventually wanted a divorce, and An addiction's like a parasite. It attaches to you and it continues to drain the life out of you. And that's